I thought I will club both the books and launch them. I was really not wanting to launch these books, but some of my colleagues and my wife in particular, they insisted that I had to launch the books. So I was rather reluctant to do so, but then I gave in to their demands, and today the launch is happening. And I'm really extremely grateful, super grateful. I'm super grateful to the gentlemen on the dais who come here on my request to launch my books, the 3 books which I've written. First and foremost, Dr. Kalyana Sundaram IPS. He is such a wonderful officer. He's an inspiration to millions of people. He's very dynamic and a wonderful human being at heart. I'm so happy that when I requested a DGP and HOPF to come and launch my books, he readily agreed to be here. And today he will be launching my book, which is on endurance. It's called Enkindling the Endorphins of Endurance, which I wrote, which is the last book which I wrote this year. So this book is different from the other books because this book talks about endurance, and it's basically a training manual about running. So anybody who wants to start running or anybody who wants to improve the fitness, it's a go-to to help them launch. They can start running. It's kind of a semi-motivational come instructional. It's both a manual as well as, so it's a mixture of both, because I wanted to keep it that way so that, because if it was only just a training manual, then people would get bored of that and then they wouldn't go further after reading a few pages. So that's the reason why I made it. I added some interspersed some interest chapters, narrate different episodes, so to keep the readers engrossed in the book. So today I'm extremely thankful and I will to HOPF, Dr. Kalyana Sundaram IPS sir, for agreeing to launch the book today. The second book which is being launched today is my very dear friend. He's been such a good well-wisher of mine, and we had a wonderful time in the academy. He is an excellent crossword puzzle solver. Like, you know, we used to sit in the, when the classes would go on, the law classes would get boring in the academy. So he and I would sit and solve crossword puzzles. The Hindu crossword puzzle is somewhat tough to crack. So we would do that, but he would finish the puzzle in no time, and he's so good and so fast at that, so he would do that in no time. And now as a commissioner of police, he's doing an amazing job. He's bringing about law and you can see the change in the city. And he's such a helpful person, a very generous and helpful person, and he hosts some of the best dinners. I mean, he's very good, and because I had the opportunity to have dinners in his place, and he was the best dinners at his place. I'm so happy that when I requested Shankar come and launch the book, he agreed today. He agreed to come and launch the book, and I'm extremely grateful to you, Shankar, and I welcome you for this evening function. And Walter Devaram sir, nobody needs to say anything about him. He's a legend by himself. In fact, 3 or 4 years back, I wanted to start a YouTube channel. So I wanted to start a YouTube channel, like, you know, so that I can document the work of some of the senior officers who have done incredibly well, so that it can inspire the new officers who are coming into the force. And that was the intention with which I wanted to start a YouTube channel. And then we did an interview together. That was 3 years back. Nobody even saw that. It was just stuck around 100 views or something. But all of a sudden, it got a momentum of its own. All of a sudden, during the last 1 month, it kind of went viral, and I had people calling me from Assam and all those places and saying that, I had to tell them that it was taken long back and it was just that, and suddenly it had a life of its own. And so, and if you want to know about Walter sir, everybody knows about him, there's nothing that, but we have documented all the entire work right from his days of as a ASP onwards till his retirement, the Veerappan hunt which he was involved in, and the amount of inspiration, the amount of number of officers he's inspired is amazing. And I remember Shailendra Babu sir, when I met him, when I was ASP Uslampatti and I was, sir was DIG, sir was SP Dindigal. And then I was called for duty at a particular place, and sir was having a thesis with him. It was on Madurai Kamaraj University thesis. It was a thesis which was written on Walter Devaram sir. So he was having that book, and so Walter Devaram has inspired Shailendra Babu, has inspired me, has inspired Jiwal, and all the officers now, there are so many officers who come into the cadre, and they all, I mean, the name is synonymous with legendariness. So he's such a legend and such a tall man as far as the police department is concerned. And so I'm very happy that when I requested Walter sir to come and grace this occasion and launch my book, he readily agreed. I welcome you, sir, for the launch. It's such a honor for me, for all these 3 officers to come here and launch. It's such a great honor for me. I also welcome Jangid sir, who's always been my well-wisher. And in fact, he wrote the foreword for the Soliloquies book. I forgot to mention, Walter sir wrote the foreword for my first book, 42 Mondays. And Jangid sir wrote the foreword for the Soliloquies book. And whenever something appears in print somewhere or anywhere, and I get a message immediately from Jangid sir appreciating that. So he's always been constantly he's been encouraging me, and he's a role model like the others who are on the stage. So I also want to welcome Sri Balchandran, my sir, who's now presently working for the Reliance after having retired from the police department. Initially, when I came into the service, I had to, I wasn't knowing much about the service, and then he has guided me and helped me on so many occasions. And I'm extremely grateful for that. I never expected him to come today, but I just sent a message to him and left it there, and I never thought he would come. But I'm so touched and so happy that he has come here for this thing. Thank you so much, sir. And I wish to also wants to welcome and thank AKV sir, and he's also been a wonderful well-wisher and a great officer, and I love his company because he's so calm, and then we talk very little, but so much happens non-verbally. There's so much of understanding, there's strong undercurrent of understanding, and the bonding which we feel it's not necessary that we say that in words, but it happens. So, and I have always looked up to him on so many times in so many ways, and he's always been a great source of inspiration for me. I welcome you, sir. Thank you so much. I also welcome my dear colleagues from the police department, Mahesh Agarwal, and Shailesh Yadav and Dinakaran. So they are also they have supported me every time in everything, whatever I did. They've been a constant source of inspiration for me, and I have learned so much from them, and I've benefited a great deal from their experience. I've drawn from their experience on so many occasions, and all of them are so very pleasing. They're such wonderful, pleasing person. I'm so happy to be around with them. Just being around with them is such a happy feeling. So I welcome all of them. Also, there are so many people whom I wish to welcome personally, like Dr. Georgie is here, and the Franker Foundation. They're doing wonderful service for the human being, for the people who are suffering from kidney diseases. So thank you so much, Vasanti, Georgie, Vasanti, and Lata and Vidya for gracing this occasion. I also welcome Sendil, who's come from the Chennai runners. He's a key who organizes the marathons in Chennai. So he has come here. Wonderful. I thank him. And then, of course, my other friends. Gerald is here. Naveen is the first publisher of my book, 42 Mondays, the Notion Press. He's here. I welcome. And then I welcome Prem, who did for the TN Idols. So he was the man behind that, and then he was the one who uploaded and then created that web page altogether. So I thank each one of you all, and I welcome my friend Rafiq and Bhaskar, and they are like my brothers. And of course, I'm going to be beaten up today. I forgot my wife's name, Jayanti. Thank you so much. You are the reason for this thing happening, because you wanted this to happen, and I was so reluctant. I didn't want this to happen. But then, so you, Sandeep Rai Rathod, all of you literally pushed me into this. So I just wanted to just pass off. So just push me into that, and I'm happy. So that, and then I also want to welcome Malliga, Durai Kumar, and then Deshmukh Sanjay Shekhar. Thanks a lot for coming. I welcome all of you. You're all wonderful. Thanks for making time and coming here for this book launch. So I welcome the media, and I welcome the other friends and ladies and gentlemen who have come here. Thanks for gracing this launch and being part of it. It fills me with pride, and I'm ever grateful to all of you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I forgot the gentleman, Mr. Gauri Shankar. He is the publisher of my 2 books. He is Vice President of New Gen Publishing House. So he is delivering the vote of thanks. And of course, Sanjay Pinto is he's the first person who inspired me to publish a book. I had no idea of publishing a book. And in fact, he was the one who helped me get in touch with the editor of the Deccan Chronicle, Mohan. And and then it was there where I started writing a column that because of him, otherwise I wouldn't have ventured into this. Thank you, Sanjay. You've been such a wonderful friend. You have helped me, encouraged me every time, and you're such a wonderful public speaker. I still remember the book launch you did on the first book which you wrote, the public speaker's book. So thank you so much. And then I have another batchmate of mine, dear batchmate of mine, who is an IB, Mr. Ravichandran. He's arrived here as well. So hi Ravi. Thank you so much. Welcome. So nice of you to have taken time off to come here for this thing. Thank you so much. I thank all of you, and I welcome each one of you. And if I have left out any name, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave anybody's name out. You're all very dear to me, and you all have contributed to my whatever contribution I have made. You all have been part of it, and I really acknowledge that, and I recognize that, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
So, as ladies and gentlemen, sir could have said a general welcome, but then he has pointed each and everyone out. So, I think he deserves a round of applause for that. So now, to felicitate the books, I would like to invite Mr. Naveen, the Managing Director of Notion Press. He is the first publisher of Dr. K. Jayant Murli's book, 42 Mondays. So over to you, Mr. Naveen.
I was very scared. It's so difficult to follow Sanjay, right? When you're speaking in public, it's incredibly difficult to follow Sanjay. So thanks for that. Good evening and a warm welcome to all. I consider it a privilege to just be in this room, hearing sir call out the names and knowing the accomplishments of people around me. So thank you for that. I first met sir during a fireside chat at Notion Press in 2019. We have an event in Notion Press where we invite people from very eclectic different professions and we try to find out what they do, what their day job is, right? So sir walks into this room full of 150 technology enthusiasts, people who pride themselves, very young people who pride themselves on their tech know-how, and he completely blows everybody's mind. For 30 minutes, all of us are completely blown out of our minds with how technology is helping modern policing. So that sort of formed the genesis for the book 42 Mondays, which was first chronicled in the Deccan Chronicle as articles. And then we started working together to create a book out of the articles. So we said this has to go to the public. This has to go not just for people, officers in the service, but also for the general public. So that's how the book took its shape. So I still remember one thing that sir said that day. He said, it's great to be enthusiastic about technology. It's great to evangelize technology. But I think the larger meaning comes from if we can measure the amount of impact technology can have on society. So we still take that lesson today as we build new things. We still carry that lesson in our heart. And we always measure the impact of what technology can do and make sure that we fall always on the good side of it. So thank you for that, sir. And so most of us barely have one book inside. I'm super surprised and amazed that in the last 1 year you have published 2 more books. So I think I have been working with authors for about 10 years now, and I know what goes on into just stringing together 50,000 words, right? So the level of achievement is equal to a marathon runner, right? So you don't need just content, you don't need information. To be able to string them into words itself together is an achievement. So hats off for that, sir. And apart from being a senior police officer, an endurance runner, a farmer, a nutrition coach, I think now your bio should read prolific writer. I think that's missing from the bio right now. You need to add it. So let us all join in celebrating this journey of hope and achievement and thank him for his contribution to the world of literature. I'm sure his books will be an inspiration and a source of guidance for all who read it. Congratulations, Dr. Jayant Murli, sir. I wish you all the best for this release and all future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Naveen. Let's give a round of applause for Mr. Naveen, who's the Managing Director of Notion Press. And next, I'd like to welcome Mr. Sanjay Pinto, author, lawyer, and columnist for Deccan Chronicle and Ritz Magazine, who is also the former resident editor, NDTV 24/7. Please, gentlemen.
Respected senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jayant Murli is somebody who hits the road running, literally as well. And I'm not surprised the way he has churned out books, 50,000 words at least for a book. And he's got 2 more in the pipeline. I mean, that's incredible. You know, some of you may be aware that before I got into journalism and law, I was hell-bent on joining the Indian Police Service. I used to write letters to Mr. Devaram when he was a DGP when I was in school. Unfortunately, we didn't have Mr. Sailendra Babu then to inspire us. Otherwise, maybe I would have got into the service then. But my friends, my classmate's father was then the Commissioner of Police, Mr. P. Dorai. And he used to gift me the Indian Police Journal. where there used to be these brilliant articles written by Mr. Triloki Nath. And when I saw Dr. Jayant Murli's book for the first time, it reminded me of those articles, those deeply incisive research pieces on policing. Friends, many years ago, Justice V.R. Lakshmi Krishna Iyer quipped, the police should use their wits and not their fists to extract confessions. And Dr. Jayant Murli's book actually clearly shows the police in good light. Often they are ridiculed for being the last to arrive at the scene of crime. And really he shows the kind of the scientific expertise that goes into investigation. So I'm so glad that he's written this book. And I'm very sure that this book will not just be compulsory reading in the National Police Academy, but also in all law universities in the country. And I'm very sure that in the days to come, even Supreme Court and High Court judgments will quote excerpts from Dr. Jayant Murli's book. So thank you very much. I'm sure this will be a bestseller. And, they say the original Charlie Chaplin won the 3rd prize in the Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. Unfortunately, today, you see most of the awards that go to people who write absolute pulp fiction and all kinds of, fluff. But I really hope that that trend changes with Dr. Jayant Murli's books and he wins an international award for all his publications because he deserves nothing less. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, now the time has come. The moment that we all have been eagerly waiting for has finally arrived, the launch of the 3 books. But before that, we would like to gift a small plant saplings to all our eminent personalities on the dais, to our guests of honor. To Dr. C. Sailendra Babu, IPS, DGP and HUPF Tamil Nadu, to Walter Devaram, IPS, with her, to Shankar Jival, IPS, DGP, COP, Chennai City, Mr. Gauri Shankar Matesi, the Vice President of Future, so now all 3 books will be launched simultaneously. To do the honors, I request Mr. Walter Devaram, IPS Red Hair, Mr. Shankar Jival, IPS DGP, COP Chennai City, and Dr. C. Sailendra Babu, IPS DGP and HUPF Tamil Nadu. So, yeah, videographers are so photographers, let them take a picture and then we will take the videos. All 3 books have been launched for 42 Mondays. The soliloquies on future policy and peddling the endorphins of endurance. And I shall launch the 3 books. So, Mr. Walter Devaram, IPS, will be launching the 42 Mondays, and Mr. Shankar Jival, IPS, Chennai City, will be launching soliloquies on future policy. Dr. C. Sailendra Babu, IPS, DGP, HUPF, is launching the endorphins of endurance. Let's give a round of applause, everyone. Congratulations to Dr. P. Jayant Murli, IPS, DGP, IWCID, for launching the 3 books. Thank you, gentlemen. Please take your seats. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us wish Dr. K. Jayant Murli, IPS DGP IWCID, that all three books will be a huge hit. Let's give a round of applause. And now to present the special address, I would like to welcome Walter Devaran, IPS, retired. Please, sir.
DGP, Sailendra Babu, Commissioner Jiva, Publisher Gauri Shankar, and the author of the three books to be released, the Jayant Murli, colleagues, past and present, well-wishers, and members of the press, and well-wishers. I am extremely happy to be here this evening for this function. Mr. Murli's writing is not new to me. I have been following his writings for a long time, particularly the 42 Mondays, which I am supposed to release today. I don't think I have read all the 42, but in between I have been reading, and the language was so fantastic, I couldn't understand many of the words. So after reading it, I remarked a few words and asking for the meaning. I still remember the first article I read, what algorithms policing, then cloud computing. I don't think any of you will understand unless you are like him, a biochemist. So I used to, morning, I called him over the phone and said, what is the meaning of these words? He gave the meaning. And not only two, several words. Then suddenly I realized that he was breathing a little hard. So I knew his habit of running long distances, half marathon. So I knew he was doing some physical activity. I asked him, are you running? He said, yes, sir. I am running a marathon. Murli has set the Asian record for the number of marathons, number of half marathons, and several road races. It's a record. I don't think anybody has done so much. So I was wondering, when do you write? When do you do your police work? When do you do your running? Then I realized he doesn't sleep more than 3 to 4 hours. He writes, reads, and attends to his police work. Then in the spare time, run. This is very rare. So today, if you had asked me to say something about his physical activities, I would have done it better. But what he has given me was to say something about the book, which is most of the time beyond my comprehension. Just such language he uses. Of course, we have again Sailendra Babu here. He is also a writer, he is also a runner, and many others. But these two are very different. Jayant Murli and Sailendra Babu. I don't know how they manage. I thought those days I was the fittest. I could run so many miles. That is because I was born in the estates, Munar estate, where there was no road, no vehicles. From our school, from our estate to the school was 7 kilometers. So we had to go 7 plus 7, 14 kilometers of walking. Not only I, even the girls did 14 kilometers. There are estates which are farther off, requiring more than 17, 18 kilometers a day. So we are forced to do that. Not that we liked walking, but we had to walk. And for one estate, I had to climb 2,000 meters to go to the Munnar school. So incidentally, last week I was in Munnar. I don't know many of you have seen Munnar. That time it was sort of only hills and estates. Now it has changed so much because now it has become a tourist center. I heard that there are more than 2,000 hotels in Munnar. Most of the managers, European managers' houses have become homestay arrangements. So anyway, somebody found out my number and asked me to come for an alumni meeting. So 10 days ago I went, and my wife, daughter, grandson, nobody had seen Munnar. And I haven't seen Munnar for the last 55 years. I left school at 54, in 1954. So we went, we had a very pleasant time. Of course, there was no classmate of mine. I was the oldest. The next oldest must have been about 60 years old. I am 83. But anyway, it was a good opportunity to meet. But running, physical efficiency was part of our life. We used to play football. And when we go to college, very few came to college because walking 14 kilometers, you can't study. You have no time to study. Some of us went to college, some to Kerala, some to Tamil Nadu. And all of us took job in the estates itself. So that was the life. So I was happy to meet all that. But as to Mr. Jayend's work, he has combined both physical activities, not ordinary physical activities, marathon, 42 kilometers, half marathon, 21 kilometers. And our Sailendra Babu does 4,500 kilometers of cycling. He is the only South Indian, or in my knowledge, who has got the title Randor. But they are doing the official work also. It is not that they are doing only running. They do the work and they are excellent, hardworking, and professionally very efficient officers. So a person like that to write so many books, it is remarkable. So I was particular that you should attend. And I was asked to release one of the 3 books today. I think he has already written 2 books. Today's 3 books are the latest. And luckily for me, I was given the book 42 Mondays, which some that I have read. If I have been given to review and release the book which Sailendra Babu is supposed to do, I wouldn't have done it because I can't even make out what the title is. You remember? The title is fantastic. So that is Sailendra Babu's work. Mine was the easiest, 42 Mondays. And 42 Mondays was remarkable. And I couldn't think of any other word. Is language, capacity to express all that is beyond my understanding. I may say that. Now, coming to the present type of policing, that's all necessary. Our type of policing was maintaining law and order. If a crime is committed, detect the crime. If the person doesn't admit, if he doesn't say where the property was hidden or sold, he will be beaten. He has to be beaten. Otherwise, how do you get the property back? Suppose somebody commits a murder. He doesn't say where the weapon, where the dead body. So our type of policing that time was physical. You have to be physical. Otherwise, you cannot. But now that things have changed. Now the crime is of a different nature, not physical. It is there. So you need a physical activity. Now, last month, 2 months ago, I addressed the sub-inspector cadets who were passing out. So I told them the usual advice: be honest, be sincere, do your work properly, and keep your health. But now that is gone. What do you do with a healthy body? How do you prevent crime? You need a new set of ideas. You will have to prepare, you have to predict what crime they are committing. It is impossible. If I come back to the police, I will be a failure. Because I have been doing only law and order work, crime detection, traffic regulation, such things only. But now, the criminals are far ahead of us in their techniques. Far ahead. And hacking and computerized crime and various other forms of crime, they have become experts. But our police are not ready. They are not fit to detect that. Because how do you select a man? How do you select SIs, sub-inspectors? So much height, so much weight, climb the rope, long jump, high jump. It's all necessary, physical efficiency is necessary, but they have absolutely no idea what type of crime is being committed or will be committed in the future and how to prevent it. So the selection itself has to undergo a different type. It is not a 6-footer. He may look nice, he may be a good traffic man, but will he be able to detect a case? Will he be able to, first of all, understand Murali's books, Murali's predictions, his think for the future? We don't have. So how do you select? The selection process itself will have to be different. You have your physically able fellows, let them do a law and order work, let them control mob, let them control criminals who come out and openly do it. But we need another selection of intelligent fellows. Intelligent fellows who are oriented towards the modern technique. So you must have, it has to come, otherwise we will be lost. Hackers will take us for a ride. Banks, passport office, everywhere they are already doing it. And apart from that, there is a way of unleashing pandemics. I don't know, I've been reading the papers. Now they say China has again a pandemic. I don't know whether they are producing it. Producing pandemics and destroy the rest of the world. Similarly, a single individual can destroy the peace of the country or the neighborhood by hacking, by introducing such crime. So we have to learn. Physical efficiency is all right, but it's not enough. Those who are physically active, put it in the AR, put them in the TSP. But for crime detection, you must have a separate set of officers who are well up in the modern techniques of crime, modern techniques of crime which we do not know. So these books, I don't know about the other two books, I am sure you would have written about that. So they are valuable. Now no point in writing, he does rope climbing, he does. As far as I was concerned, I took people like that only. Police means fitness, not brain. Fitness means running, jumping, rope climbing, and such people are taken. And we took a lot of tribals after the Naxalite operation. Because they don't have employment, they became Naxalites. So I used to shot, 1 inch shot, 2 inch shot, doesn't matter, take them. Age difference, take them. So a lot of concession I took on my own. I have taken sportsmen, sportswomen, tribals who due to poverty, they cannot reach our heights, our weight. So we took them. But they are good for outdoor work, bandobast, law and order duties. But crime has to be tackled in a different way. So those books must be valuable. I am sure I won't understand the whole thing because I belong to the fourth generation where the policing was taken in a different angle. A good police officer means who can maintain law and order, who can maintain traffic, who can prevent crime. But now to prevent crime, you need the latest techniques. So Jayant Murali's books will be of great use. So I am sure those who write books should think into those terms. But he can continue his running, continue his activities, plus write books. And as for my own information for you, I started writing a book, autobiography, 10 years ago, then gave it up. Then when the COVID-19 came, I said, now I can write. That also is going on and on. In the meanwhile, Jayant Murali, who is in the active police duty, has written books, it's remarkable. 3 books, articles, remarkable. Only thing, the language was too good, too sophisticated. So, good, perhaps we will also learn more words, but you must keep a dictionary nearby. Jayant Murali's book, plus a dictionary. Then only you can understand. Anyway, excellent, you have done very well. And I am sure you will continue to fight crime, prevent crime, and be one step ahead of the nuclear or always thinking thing, so that Tamil Nadu police, we are the best, no doubt about that. We are the best in the world. No other country has so much of problem, but we will lose that title if we do not keep up with the coming crime, the technicals. So books like this will be very useful, and I am sure they should be learned by the present set of officers and try to find out who are all capable of doing it. Then follow his books and try to continue as #1 police force in the country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time as well as for sharing the insights of the book. Let's give a huge round of applause for Thiru Walter Devaran, IPS, right here. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Thiru Shankar Jival, IPS, DGP, Commissioner of Police, Chennai City. Please, gentlemen.
Sir Walter Isaac Devaram, DGP HO Dr. Salindra Babu, my colleague Dr. K. Jayant Murali, assembled glitterati of Chennai City media. I do not know whether the saying, whether you should judge a book by its cover is right, or you should judge the inside of the stuff better. I don't know how the saying goes, but the fact is that I go by the second one. You can judge the book by its cover. And especially for today, I will stand by that, because the kind of personality Dr. Jayant Murali is, very unassuming, a man of great depth. In first few interactions, you won't be able to also even judge as to what kind, even if you won't be able to realize that he's a police officer, a trained police officer to start with, and to then fathom that he is a man who's written 3 books, a great marathon runner and all that, you'll need to really do great sittings with him. So for him, you cannot judge him by the cover, the book cover. So the first recommendation is that please read his books. So that don't just stay with the cover alone, because most of the guys just stay with the cover. I will recommend please read his books, and definitely he has given a lot of thought to these. A great endeavor he has embarked upon, and successfully, I'll say he is still on the way, but somewhere a lot of milestones he's achieved. As I said, that don't judge the book by its cover alone. So a few things I like to quote from here. For example, on the chapters on the extortion through the cyberspace mechanizations, he speaks I repeat here, quote unquote, until now, the cyber predators wielded brutal force to recruit their victims, but now this impetus has shifted to intelligent manipulation and persuasive ploys. Precautious marketing, please mark the words, precautious marketing, looks like a management book, and management strategies and outstanding informatics abilities. This is exactly day in and day out happening what we at the end of the law enforcement are facing. So when you say that define your cyber criminals, it's very difficult to sort of say what can we say, that they are smart chaps, they do this and all. But here in one line, exactly defines the mechanics of it. For example, again quotes a precautious marketing. So these guys, how they are, because how come that all of us are always talking about the cyber crimes, what's happening around, still think of the victims. The marketing strategies, the adaptabilities they bring in is tremendous. So just few things like how this book is so futuristic and so good. I'll again I can't help but quote one more. Like in the page 191, he talks about data valence is today rampant. I think the next Oxford of next year will include a word called data valence, which will attribute to Dr. K. Jayant Murali. So few things like this, he can say surveillance, he can say electronic surveillance, cyber prowling, all these. He says data valence, so that surveillance part of it. I definitely wish all the best to my colleague. Just yesterday afternoon we were talking and I was saying that what you are planning like. So it seems he's going to be Chennai bound for a while. All the best for us, that we will be able to interact with him, get the best out of him. And I will say that don't carry dictionary along. Whenever you feel you have a doubt, etc., just call him up or meet him and clear your doubts. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Up next, I would like to welcome Dr. C. Sailendra Babu, IPS, DGP and HOPF, Tamil Nadu. Please, sir.
respected Mr. Walter Devaram, DGP retired, Mr. Shankar Jiwal, Commissioner of Police, Chennai City, author of 3 books today, Dr. Jayant Murali, Mr. Gauri Shankar, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my proud privilege to release one of the books by Dr. Jayant Murali. Mr. Walter Devaram was saying it's very difficult to pronounce the name of this book. Enkindling the endorphins of endurance. Mr. Shankar Jiwal was saying you can simply call it as triple E. Like B-E triple E. E. Triple E book by Dr. Jayant Murali will be much, much easier. Mr. Jayant Murali, he was my college mate. We all studied in the same college, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University in Coimbatore, but at that time, we didn't know each other. He was studying plant breeding and genetics, or biotechnology, microbiology, core subject. I was studying agricultural extension. Much later, we met in the cadre, in the Tamil Nadu cadre police service. This book, particularly, I liked it. I'm very happy that he asked me to release this book because I am also a fan of endurance sports. He is a full marathon runner. I think anybody who has any idea about running will know the importance of full marathon, 42 kilometers and 150 meters. Right? Am I correct, sir? 42 kilometers and 150 meters. That is full marathon. 195. 42, 195. Okay. So, full marathon runner and a full book writer is a very rare combination because both are difficult. Both are not that easy. We only dream to run a full marathon. We also dream to write a book. Mr. Walter Devaram was saying for the last 10 years he has been writing a book. He was writing only things he has done. Still it is taking a long time. So, I run marathons, mostly half marathons. That's why I'm saying it's very, very difficult to run a full marathon. One of the days I met Mr. Jayant Murali to take some tips to run a full marathon. Then he suddenly produced some notes. He told me that he was writing a book. This was 3 years before or 4 years before. And he had a plan. He said for full marathon, probably you'll have to train for 12 weeks of proper training. Then it will be possible for you to run. That has come out as a good book. So anybody who really wants to run marathon, you can certainly refer this book. It's a very, very interesting book. How you plan, what are the equipments you require, how many days you train, how do you train, what are the different kinds of training, what are the possible setbacks, what are the diet, what food you can take, what you should not take, and how many days you must take rest after the run. That's also very, very important. So it's a full book. I read a lot of books on endurance sports. Born to Run. Who is the author? Born to Run? Charles McDougall. It's about the way people in Tara area of South America, they run. The whole community will run for 50 kilometers, sometimes 100 kilometers every day. And they live like that. So the benefits of running is extremely good. I liked it. Why should we run? Particularly those people who assembled here, other than the police officers. Why should we run? Recently I heard a video of a very old person, probably who crossed 100 years of age. Naturally, people will be interested to know how you are living such a long a time. Now, what question we will ask Jayant Murali? How we are able to run marathons? Not only marathon, the time. I can also run marathon, but we cannot run at that. But you are running by 3 hours 15 minutes. What is it? 3:40. 4 hours. Yeah. 3 hours 40 minutes. It's a very, very good time. It will be very, very difficult a job. So people asked him, how do you live such a long time? He says one single tip. He says, keep walking. Give full work to your legs. Okay, anywhere, wherever you are, whatever you do, keep walking, making use of your legs. Somebody says, if you are sitting, please stand up. If you're standing, you walk. If you're walking, you run. You'll be the fittest person on the earth. Simple as that. Okay? Being mobile is the best thing to do that can make you really live longer. Last Sunday, I ran a half marathon in Coimbatore. I took 2 hours 40 minutes. After a long time, I was running. So when I was asked to flag off the marathon, and the anchor asked me, "Sir, why did you come to Coimbatore?" I told him, "I came to Coimbatore to run with you." "Okay, sir, why do you run?" I told the same answer, "I wanted to live longer. I don't want to die. That's why I'm running." So every one of you, please take one shot at running one time. Try to run a full marathon. Your whole life will change. I can guarantee you. I can read out his last chapter a little later. One full marathon probably can transform you completely. You can be a completely different personality. I'll tell you why little later. And he was telling me when I met him how we can run a full marathon. It has to be done step by step. It's not overnight you can run, you know. When you run an half marathon, he runs a full marathon. It's not something happening all in a sudden. Picasso once wrote a nice picture. And the lady said, "Will you please give me this picture?" He said, "You have to give me $1 million US. And the lady said, "After all, you took half an hour and you're asking me $1 million for half an hour's work. Lady, this is not half an hour's work. This is my last 25 years of work. That I put it in the paper in half an hour." So step by step, Terry Fox, who ran from the one coast of the other coast of Canada, you know, Terry Fox is a cancer-affected patient. One of his leg was already removed. So he was running 50 kilometers every day. When he completed 3,000 kilometers, they asked him, "How you are able to run 50 kilometers a day?" He said, "I don't run 50 kilometers a day. Then I just run 1 kilometer. I reach the first flag post or the lamp post. Then I see the next lamp post. It's 1 more kilometer. Then I run that lamp post 1 more kilometer. Every time, 1 kilometer at a time, I run 50 kilometers in a day." That's what he told me. Step by step you can achieve this. So my general advice to all the people, please read his book. 1 step at a time, maybe 14 weeks, 12 weeks, you'll be able to run full marathon. For the police officers, many police officers here, Jayant Murali probably has a good influence with his own batchmates. There's something very big, very good. All other police officers here. Police, why police have to have endurance? Why should they run? I'll say endurance sports, particularly this running, it's a combination of everything. If a person can run 42 kilometers, he is combining yoga, he is combining meditation, he is combining all the things which is being talked about fitness. So naturally, I am a fan of these police officers. Why should they have the endurance capacity? Mr. Walter Devaram was saying that we should be fit enough. Many years before, many villages, we all police officers, we have been heading the cities and districts. At those times, people will be brewing arak in their own places, illicit arak. One of our responsibilities to go and destroy them and catch these people. When I went to a place near Chidambaram, a group of guys were distilling arak. They're making, brewing their own arak, their own whiskey. So on seeing as the party, they started running. We were about 10 people, and I was the superintendent of police of Kadalur district, near Chidambaram, a place called Vallambadige. So we thought we'll be able to catch him. So 10 of us, we chased them, and they ran. And 2 of them we caught immediately. One fellow kept on running. So in the first kilometer, he still was leading us. In the first kilometer, 3-4 policemen, they stopped by the time. Then we continued to chase. Second kilometer, few more constables dropped out. Fourth, at 5th kilometer, I was the only one who was chasing him. And from 6th onward, he slowed down, I caught him. Naturally, what will happen? The policemen will be very angry. They want to hit that fellow. I said, don't do it. You should appreciate. He's faster than me, at least for 6 kilometers. Or maybe he would have still run, but he didn't run. We caught him, and later one of the inspectors, I think his name is Ravi Shankar. He has trained him to join Indian Army as an army Jawan. In the same village, few more people joined a little later. So the marathon running is a very, very special sport. Not only its fitness, it also gives you, it will also transform you. It will make you a better person. This book is not only about running marathon, this is also about self-improvement, self-development. So he has mentioned certain very important common character of running and also success. People who are running, he'll say, they'll be successful. So I'll read out. It will be very interesting because even if you don't read the book, this will be helpful. Yes. He says people who are running, especially marathon, and people who are successful have certain things in common, okay? They all set goals. If you don't set goal, you can't run a marathon. So if you don't set goal for your financial position, you can't achieve that. They all take action. Life rewards action. They have confidence and self-esteem. They develop a good mental and physical state. That's very important. Particularly the mental state is very, very, very critical. They are self-disciplined. Yeah? People don't wear helmet. Don't wear seat belts. You need a policeman to tell them that you must wear a seat belt. They have a positive mindset. Like Norman Vincent Peale's, positive thinking gives you powerful results. They are conscientious. They foster a sense of community, team leadership. They are adept at teamwork, at the same point. They don't bite off more than what they can chew. You know, some people sweat small things out, do you know? Very, very small things, they make very big. We are seeing a lot of people around, they major into minor things. Whereas the marathon sports runners do not. They build routines and rituals, like Anthony Robbins says, your daily rituals really matter. What is the regular ritual of a marathon runner? He'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. 4:30 he is on the road. So that ritual helps him to be a different person. They make the right choices. After all, life is full of choice, you know. We are all the results of the choices we have made. Our education, our profession, our partner, right? All these things are the results of choices. They are committed. They are persistent. They are highly motivated. They are consistent. They have, whatever it means, they have a reason to wake up in the morning. So sports will motivate you. They are consistent. They have a drive and passion. They are optimistic and friendly. They have a strong self-image, and image really matters. They are emotionally intelligent. They don't really angry or they don't shout at people. They are competitive. So these are the things which is common to successful people and marathon runners. I think this is good enough for all of you to at least read the book, okay? And later to take up running in a serious, in a big way. Wish you all the best and thank you very much. And I want to say I appreciate Dr. Jayant Murali for giving this very valuable. Probably this will become a really big time bestseller all over the world. All the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, as a token of gratitude, I request Dr. K. Jayant Murali, IPS DGP IWCID, to present a memento to Thiru Walter Devaram, IPS, retired. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining with us and launching the book, 42 Mondays. And next, Thiru Shankar Jawal, IPS DGP, Commissioner of Police, Chennai City. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining with us. And next, Dr. C. Kalyana Babu, IPS, DGP and HOP of Tamil Nadu. Thank you, gentlemen. May I request you all to kindly take your seats. And now, I request Dr. K. Jayant Morley, IPS DGP IWCID, to announce about his new books. Please, gentlemen.
I must say that the dignitaries of the dais, the DGP, and Shankar Jiwal and Walter Devaram sir, they are, I learned a lot from them, and it's like, I used to see Devaram sir up in the morning at 5 o'clock walking. Whenever I was a young as ASP, when you would be traveling and then wherever we go, DG would be up at 5 o'clock and he would be walking, and he would walk such long distances. And Sridhar Babu sir is, he's a king of endurance, because he has cycled all the way up to north to Kashmir and beyond. It's unbelievable. And his cycle expeditions used to be regular when just before he took up the post of HOPF. He would be going on expeditions, cycling expeditions to all over the state, different places. And the kind of the inspiration that he generates for the people, a lot of people emulate the activities, and I must say, I've been witness, wherever sir goes, and there's a beeline for taking selfies along with him, and he's so very popular and so famous. And it's such a wonderful to work with DGs. Like, I've worked with so many DGs, and it's so very encouraging and so motivating, because when I inform some facts to DG in the morning, and there would be one word, and that word is like tonic. It's brilliant. It's amazing. So, it's been really it's so much of encouragement. One gets so much encouragement and so much of enthusiasm, to deliver more and do more. So that's wonderful. And a lot of people don't know about Shankar Jiwal. He was the best. The best athlete during the training days. The way he used to run like a gazelle. I've seen him running, and he just missed the Prime Minister's revolver but he was the best probationer, and he's such a good. He's such a good sportsman. He's got so much in him. So they're all very, very inspiring and wonderful people. My running journey started much later, and it's all because I looked at them and then I imbibed their qualities a little by little. I started thinking about them, and that started kind of getting assimilated in me, and then that's how I started. It was my 50th birthday that I did my first marathon, and that was, before that I hadn't done this thing, and Sandil knows that, because I was very apprehensive, whether I would be able to do that, and so, but then there was I came in very late. As far as the writing is also concerned, I was one of the worst writers, one of the worst person. I couldn't draft sentences properly in school. So in Hyderabad, where I was studying in a school called St. John's Churches School. So I had a teacher by name Victor. So we had to take a third language, and then I didn't want to read Telugu. So I opted for special English. So I had a teacher by name Victor. She was an old lady, very kind-hearted, very gentle and very benevolent person. So she saw me that I was so pathetic as far as my English is concerned. We used to be only 5 because everybody was studying, because most of them had Telugu as their mother tongue, so they had opted for Telugu. And since I hadn't opted then, so I was in this class, and so I was very pathetic. And so she kind of like, she could have destroyed me then, totally. She would have told me, you're good for nothing, and you cannot do anything, and that would have been the end of me, because, when we are at such an impressionable age and you're in school, that when someone tells you something, that becomes a part of your belief system, and so that belief runs your life. So luckily for me, this lady was such a wonderful soul. She's no more. She died about 3 years back, but she believed in me. She said, no, she made me buy that book, Red and Martin. It used to be there. She said, you guys buy that book and you have to read this, and she would earmark portions, and then, so that's how, like, I kind of improved upon. And then there's some people who ask me, like, why is it that you studied microbiology for your PhD, and then how is it that you started writing about technology? And that is again an accident. Sanjay Pinto, like, he had introduced me to Mohan, and then the editor of Deccan Chronicle, he said, okay, you can write articles. So initially I was writing all articles which are reform-based, social, all that kind of a thing. So the article which I wrote, the second or the third article which I wrote, was on police suicides. So when I wrote that article came, and then after a week, the budget session was on. And I was ADG CBCID at that point of time. So what happened was, the police demand was being read. We were asked to be there because it's CBCID, so we were asked to be present there. So I was present there. And after the speech was over, the Honorable CM speech, the Honorable CM, the present CM, was the opposition leader then. So he rose up, and then he said, you are saying that the facts which you have given out is totally false, because your own ADGP says the highest number of police suicides take place in Tamil Nadu, and he produced my paper in the assembly. And then I was shit scared. I was there in the hall there with me, and this was happening, and then it was a very embarrassing moment at that point of time. So after this was over, and then I had to face the wrath of my DG and the Home Secretary and all of them, like, they're very cut off and pissed off with me. I said, how can you write against the government? And then the editor was asking me, like, and then I was already onto an article on lynching, because a lot of lynching was happening at that point of time. So he was pressing, because Saturday, and then I had to give the piece has to be published on Monday. So he said, then I was thinking, like, there's so many things in this article which can again, like, create an enormous amount of controversy. Then how do I go about it? Then I sat it, and then I wrote how technology can be used to prevent lynching, because technology is a neutral topic. Technology is neutral, there's nothing which can go against the conduct rules of a person. So I started writing about technology. So that's how and I had to learn technology, every new technology which is there, I had to do a bit of research, learn about it, and then do the piece. So that's how I started writing, and this running book came about because I was in CISF, and then we used to have a lot of this, a lot of running and all that, and then so the wards of the CISF personnel, they would want to run, and then they wanted some kind of a coaching, and because I had I was here, and then I had units all over the country, and then I would just go there, and so there would be a request. So I started blogging. So because I said, okay, I can't be here, but I started blogging. So I created a website. I started blogging, and after I started blogging, gradually, like, when I started getting some responses, like, I had goosebumps when someone started writing, like, you changed my life. We are following your running and all that. And so then I thought that I must write a book. But this idea remained a seed for a very long time, and only when after I was out of law and order, ADG law and order, when I was in the armed police, so then I thought, like, let me write a book on running, and so that everybody who wants to know about running, they can read about it and start running. This is basically a training manual was how I started. But then, like DG sir said, that running is not just a physical thing. It's initially when you do running is physical. And then a little later, when you have to push, it becomes mental. And when you push through the mental barrier, then after some time, you totally, the mental chatter ceases, and then you kind of zoom out, you zen in, you become as like a Zen monk, like, the mental chatter completely tunes off, your mind becomes so silent, it's like meditation, you're almost like meditating, and that feeling is out. It just really is a wonderful feeling. I think everybody should know that, and that's when the endorphins kick in, and those endorphins are amazing because, like sir was saying that the endorphins, once the endorphins kick in, and once you get the taste of these endorphins and you feel the rush of endorphins in your brain, then you feel like, there is, you are in Zen kind of a state. So you feel that, you can do anything and then you feel so peaceful and so bliss, you feel blissful also. So that's one of the best part of it. So, and as far as my announcements of the other two books, like, I have, if you go to my website, I have done more than about 500, 600 blogs. So I have material for another 3-4 books, but the 2 books, one is this running book we have translated in Tamil, and that's about, like, and I've added some new chapters. So that's about, that's the next book which is out. It's going to be out in a week's time. In about 20th December is when that book would be out. The next book is that is a potpourri. It's kind of like a potpourri is a mixture of different kinds of flowers. There are different types of, it's a mixture of all different kinds of articles which are there, and that book is under publication with the, so it will be out. It will take some more time, maybe in March or April next year. So that's when it will be out. And these 2 books, and apart from that, I'm just because I'm the Idle Wing, so I've started writing a book on Idle Wing and some of the cases and some of the cultural things about the different dynasties, the Chola dynasty, the Pandya dynasty, and all that historical things. That's another thing which is coming up. So I thank all of you today for being here and for gracing this function. It's been I really don't know. I have no words to express my gratitude to all of you all. And it's such a good feeling. I didn't want this to happen, but I'm happy that it has happened, and I'm thankful to all of you. Thank you so much. I'm super grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, once again, I'm Kalyana Sundaram, sir, congratulations, sir. Shall we do that? Come on. As he said that all good things must come to an end, we have come to an end of this beautiful evening. So, to present the word of thanks, I would like to welcome Mr. Gauri Shankar Natesan, who is the Vice President at New Gen. Please, gentlemen.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. I think it's a very difficult thing to follow all great speakers, starting with Sanjay Pinto, and so I'll try to do my best. So this particular launch of these 3 books by Dr. K. Jayant Murli was actually much awaited. We've been talking about this for a while, and one of these books, the Soliloquies on Future Policing, has been produced and published by my parent company, New Gen, in partnership with Thomson Reuters. So we also work with Thomson Reuters. This is published under that. It comes under the legal publication section. And the other book, Enkindling the Endorphins of Endurance, has been published through our own imprint, which is Indus. So our intention at NewGen and Indus is to support authors, associations, and publishing communities at large. You know, in publishing content of interest, value, benefit. I mean, all publishers do this, but I think what we're looking at is not just from a commercial angle, but also from something that will benefit society. Now, I'm actually very glad that, you know, I've had a chance to participate in this event, and I wasn't even sure that I would make it today because I've not been keeping well, and even now I have my eyes are, you know, not okay, which is why I've been wearing these glasses. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Sri Walter Devaram, IPS retired, for taking the time today to release the book 42 Mondays. In fact, I've been discussing with him for his book, which he spoke about. Soliloquies on Future Policing is a very special book for us at NewGen, and it's really a pleasure that it's being released formally today. I would like to thank Sri Shankar Jiwal, IPS DGP, and Commissioner of Police, Chennai City, for taking time off from his busy schedule for this event. I would like to thank Dr. Sri Sailendra Babu, IPS DGP, Tamil Nadu, for participating in releasing the book, Enkindling the Endorphins of Endurance. At NewGen, we've been associated with Dr. K. Jayant Murli for, I think, over the past year and a half. When we first started discussing the possibility of publishing his book, I read through his earlier book, 42 Mondays. And I was very, very impressed with his style of writing. And this was the opinion that came from our editorial team as well. That's, and to be very frank, given that, you know, we're doing legal books, it's very rare to hear that from the editorial team. They're normally not very complimentary. So we have now published 2 of his books, with 2 more in the pipeline, as he mentioned. It's been a pleasure to work with him, and the reasons are very simple. His attention to detail is extremely good. And what it does is that as publishers, it makes our job simpler. And very little time is, you know, spent in going back and forth. So the books come out on time, and which is very important in publishing and doesn't always happen. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Jayant Murli for this opportunity to publish his works and also be part of this event. I would like to take this opportunity to also thank Vidya Arumugam, who was liaised with my team during the book production process. Again, it's not very difficult to work with my team, I know that, so, you know, hats off to her. My special thanks to my team at NewGen for their support through all these stages. Some of them were supposed to be here, they couldn't make it. So it is definitely without their support, none of these books would have got published. I would like to once again thank the dignitaries as well as the guests who have assembled here to have taken the time and ensured the success of this launch event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining with us today. Thank you so much. We request all of you to kindly join us for the dinner, please.